In the next part of our video, we're going to learn 3 types of code. We're going to learn CSS code, we're going to learn Facebook code, and lastly, we're going to learn how to edit the WordPress code. So the first step is just to make a logo. By the way, we're also going to make a logo in this tutorial. We're not going to make the logo out of code, although I suppose you could these days. We're just going to make the logo because our site needs one, and then we're going to use some code to make the logo look differently. Alright, so first part I'm going to do, and this is optional, but will actually really help you with the logo colors, is take a screenshot of something you want your logo to resemble. So if you have this beautiful people dancing with the light bulb and the smiley face image, then take a screenshot of that, and if you chose a different image for your homepage, then take a screenshot of that. On a Mac, it's Command-Shift-3 to take a big screenshot, or it's Command-Shift-4 to take a precise screenshot, and then you can just grab like the image or a part of an image like that without actually getting the whole file. You just make a new picture of it. Or on PC, it's print screen. So take a screenshot. Once you have your screenshot, we are going to bring it over to PicMonkey. So open up a new browser tab and type in PicMonkey. I'll also give you a link to PicMonkey below the video. I'm a member at PicMonkey. I believe it only costs about $7 or $8 a month, and I use it to create beautiful images, touch them up, make them brighter, more contrast, sharper, perfect for thumbnails for any sort of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram publishing, and also really good for collages and just putting images on top of images using all these different sorts of graphics. So definitely recommend PicMonkey, but the tool we're going to use it for right now is pretty simple. We're just going to open new and choose our screenshot from the computer, desktop, double click on the screenshot, and now we're just going to use PicMonkey as a color picker. So we're going to click on text, add text, and now just click in this black bar over here where my mouse is on the right to get the eyedropper tool and just hover on top of the image, and it will tell you exactly what color any part of the image is. Alright, so I want our logo to resemble this night sky blue. Click on the blue, now click on the hex in the upper right and right click copy. And that's all we need PicMonkey for right now, but as you can tell from what I said, I am pretty obsessed with it. It's amazing, and it makes you your own graphic designer, you know, basically for a small cost. Super worth it, and I use it every time I publish a blog post for the thumbnail image. Images like this one for Cyber Monday deals right here, this one for Delinked with the WordPress logo, the cool fonts, and in fact, this image too, and this image were all made in PicMonkey. So, can totally save you. And I do recommend you get PicMonkey sooner rather than later. It'll just make all your work that much more beautiful. Alright, so we're going to leave PicMonkey now and go to Logo Maker for our logo. Pretty easy stuff. Click on the gray, and so if PicMonkey is like the touching up and image creation tool, then Logo Maker is the logo creation tool. So they really go hand in hand for different purposes on the blog, and fortunately Logo Maker is free. Although they have some paid options you can check out too for premium goods. So we're just going to click in the search bar up here, and we're going to look for cloud. I'll show you the magic here. So you get virtually any type of cloud you can think of, and I just want one to represent Bluehost. We're going to make a blue cloud. Once you find a cloud you like, just click on it, and that'll bring it into the canvas here. We can now drag to resize, and in the upper right you can click on the color wheel and click and change the color of the item. So in our case, all we need to do is just replace the hex here beneath the color wheel with the 6-digit hex we got from PicMonkey. Paste and hit enter, and the color will fill itself in. It just gets a little bit hard to tell one blue from another sometimes. Next, we're going to grab the logo and just move it to the left, and then click on the T for text and type in our text. You can see the red lines will help us line up the logo text perfectly right beside our image. I just need to make sure we get the right font. So I really want to use the font we have in the headings on our website. And the first way that you can really learn about code is by right-clicking on it and clicking Inspect Element. And this isn't really even full code, it's more just like babyland code. But this shows you like what's behind what you're looking at here. Like what HTML on the left and CSS on the right is needed to create the beautiful stuff we see on our website. And when we go on the right over here, we can tell that the font is Montserrat. See in the lower right? The font size is 40. And I like toggling on the check on and off and on and off just to make sure that that's actually what's going on. So the font is being told to be Montserrat. And we could remove it. Or remove the boldness, for example. So now that we know the font is Montserrat right there on our website, all you need to do is come back to Logo Maker. We're going to type in the name of our website, and now we'll just change the font. So come up to your upper navigation and click on the font family on the right. Now we're just going to scroll down to Montserrat. Boom. Alright, it should change automatically, and we should be good to go. Just make it a little bit bigger and a little bit bluer. Alright, so here we have the text that's slightly different blue than the actual logo. We can change that, of course. Sometimes it doesn't really know which color you want to change, and you have to like click on top of the item again to select it and then change the hex. So eventually it will work. Now we are in business. We just need to click crop in the lower right to get the right portion of the logo. We don't want all sorts of unnecessary white space around it. We want it nice and tight. And then we want to hit enter and save in the upper right. So click on that floppy disk. Click on it again if it doesn't like to work. Now click no thanks and download the logo. Version 1, save it. And you also, this is important, need to click follow this guide and follow it to give a link and proper credit back to Logo Maker on your credits page on your website. To accomplish that, just go back to your WordPress site and hover on the top navigation and click new page. Then we just want to call this page credits. I don't know what the page is doing right now. The Wonderful World of Blocks makes no sense. Add title makes no sense. Possibly Gutenberg has got involved. Then just add the title of credits. And it looks like our page has morphed into Gutenberg already, which we're just going to roll with. I'm not sure why. And we're just going to put in the credits that Logo Maker gives us. So scroll down and it will say, if you are a website, then write in a visible area of your website, created my free logo at Logo Maker. And that is what you have to do. Just copy the text right here. Copy that. Come back to your site and paste it. Alright, and then we can just highlight it and link it to Logo Maker, which would just be, if you open a new tab, just logomakr.com. And that should do it. Just copy that link, go back to your site, paste that in the URL bar, and you are good to go. Just click on the arrow to insert your link, and you're good to go. I'm not sure why our page sort of inherited the Gutenberg characteristics, but you are living through change right here. You are really seeing the evolution of WordPress. So we're going to click publish in the upper right. Literally in our tutorials, we have never seen a page become Gutenberg before, but it looks like we are now. Okay, so whether or not our page is doing this or that, the point of this section of the video is to learn code and to teach you how to learn code. So the first thing we need to do is just upload our logo, and then we're going to edit that logo using code. So to edit our logo, we're just going to hover on the top navigation and click customize. Alright, and then we are going to click on, once it loads, we're going to click on header, and then logo, and then if it says no logo selected, that's good. Just click select logo, and now we're going to upload files, select files, and we're going to grab the logo we made at Logo Maker. So that might be in your downloads or your desktop. I'm not sure where that would be for you. For us, it's in our documents randomly. So we're just gonna select it and click open, and then click select, and then skip cropping. And then you're gonna get a really big version of your logo probably. So there it is. And we're just gonna click publish. All right, so now let's X out and let's see what our site looks like. All right, so we have our site that looks cool and our logo at the top that looks a little bit too big for its britches. So how do we reduce the size of that logo? Well, the best way to change the size of any element on your website is just to right click it and click inspect. And it appears what we're dealing with is site logo. So all we need to do is just click on this little CSS area on the lower right that I've selected. Just click right there to highlight all this and right click, copy. Now X out of this area and now go back to customize. And we're gonna bring our mouse down to custom CSS/JS. And this is where we're gonna learn our first piece of code. So assuming you just copied the section that we just copied, now just right click and paste it. Or you could write it in if you want. It just says hashtag site logo inner, a image. Now we're just gonna write a space and then open bracket and hit enter. And we're just gonna write max for max, hit the down arrow and select width. Then we're gonna write 50%, semicolon. And if it says there's an error, it means you wrote it a little bit wrong. So in this case, we had a typo on width. That's just a good reminder that in any sort of CSS, you cannot have a typo. You have to get it perfect. So the semicolon is there now instead of that big L. And now our logo is resized perfectly. And as you can tell, probably, you can change the size of it just by increasing that number. But in our case, we want something around the realm of like 60 or 50% is perfect. Ideally, you don't want your logo to be too big, just like the sites of Apple, Uber, Airbnb, Home Depot, Target, and so on. Their logo is small and recognizable in the upper left corner, and then you get to the content which people want. You don't want your logo to take over the whole page. Alright, so that does it for our logo CSS. Just write out that hashtag site logo inner, a img, then the open bracket, and then max, width 50%, close bracket. And now we're gonna publish it, and we have edited our first piece of code. Once you click publish, you can X out, and it'll take you to the home page, and you've done a great job editing that CSS. So the next piece of code we want to edit is the Facebook Lightbox code. And to insert that code onto our website, we need to be first on our blog page. So let's click on our hamburger menu and click blog. And now we're going to get our sidebar, which is conveniently empty and can be filled with the Facebook Lightbox. So just bring your mouse to the upper right hand corner and click on new tab. And we're just going to type in Facebook Lightbox and see what comes up. Alright, and so we're going to get the Lightbox and the page plugin. The Lightbox is just a outdated piece of code from Facebook, so we don't want to do that. What we want to do is the page plugin, which lets us show off our entire page badge. So if you have a Facebook page, which is free to create, then we can show that off here and people can like it right from your sidebar. So all you need to do is just write in your Facebook URL right here. It's going to say facebook.com/Facebook, and we're going to replace it with Dear Blogger, where you really should go to get real advice in real time from real people on blogging. And then we're going to add in the width. If we want, you can make it like really small or really wide. I really like the default settings though, so I leave those unchanged. And I leave the right side clicked and the left side unclicked, and then just come down and click Get Code. Alright, so the first part of Facebook code is actually kind of tricky. You have to put the code at the top right here into your site, ideally right after the opening body tag. What does that mean? Well, let's right click, copy it, and let's see what that means. If we go back to our site, we can click on the dashboard, and the best way to insert any code from Facebook or Google Plus or maybe Twitter where they want you to insert some JavaScript is just to go to plugins. So click plugins and now click add new. And what you want to do is look for a plugin called insert headers and footers. And when you find this plugin by WP Beginner, all we're going to need to do is click install now and activate. And this plugin is perfect for adding third-party code to your WordPress website. So just scroll down now and we have our fifth plugin. And now we can hover on the settings tab and it'll say insert headers and footers. So click that. And you're going to want to paste that code from Facebook from this little top box right in there in the scripts in header box. So just right click and paste and save it. Perfect. The second part of the Facebook like box is easier. Just click on the step 2 code and right click and copy it. Now come back to your WordPress website and hover on appearance and click widgets. And this really is how everyone adds a Facebook like box to their blog. I guarantee it. And now in the default sidebar, we need something to put that code into. And ideally, that is just a text widget. So click on the text widget at the bottom and then click default sidebar and add to widget. Alright, and then click text, dismiss, and right click and paste that in there and click save. Alright, and now we can go to our website by clicking in the upper left and click on the hamburger and click blog. And by doing just that, you'll have added a Facebook like box to your sidebar. Beautiful. Now, the way we are going to edit the code from that Facebook like box is, of course, back in widgets. You can hover on your dashboard button and click widgets. And then you can click on the text tab, text. And at any time, you can edit the Facebook code right here. For example, we can say, make that data small header true and save it. Or better yet, you can go to the Facebook page and add some new selectors by changing up the options here, then pasting that new code in your widgets, saving it, and then when you go to your website, it will look perfect for you. It'll look different. You can customize it just as you want. Alright guys, so now that we've learned how to edit the code on our logo to make it look different, like bigger or smaller. Alright guys, and so the final piece of code that we're going to learn how to edit is in the bottom of your website in the footer. Down here where it says copyright Ocean WP theme by Nick. Nick is definitely a great guy. I've talked to him. He makes a lot of great WordPress content, including this theme itself. So big thanks to Nick. But if you want to remove that portion of your site and make it say by you instead, you don't need to go to the edit theme section in Appearance Editor. Although you probably could find it there. All you need to do is just hover on your upper navigation and click Customize. And then come down to where it says footer bottom and click that. And then just change up the code right here. So it's going to say copyright Ocean WP date. And you can change that if you want. But we're just going to leave that short code there and leave the copyright. And then say copyright 2018 Dear Blogger Productions. Alright, and doing that will change your footer code. All you need to do is just publish it. Alright, and if you want, you can change the padding down here. Padding is just more space around what we're editing. So we can change it to, for example, 30 and 30, and it'll space it out a little more. We can also change the background color to a blue or you can change it to the exact color of one of your items. If you use that screenshot method I showed you earlier with PicMonkey, you can change it to one of these exact colors. That will make it look beautiful. And then we can change the text color to something that fashions this, like white. And once it looks good, we can just publish and we are good to go. Alright, and when we look at our site, we have a beautiful looking footer that you edited using a little bit of beginner friendly code, sort of an introduction to how to edit the code in WordPress. So I hope you enjoyed that, and now you have something that looks great. Perfect. Now, in case that was too beginner friendly of a coding tutorial for you, I'll show you how to edit some code on our Elementor homepage here, just so you can get something out of this if you're already a little more further along with code. Alright, so on the homepage, click Edit with Elementor. Now just click on a particular section, like this text box right here. Alright, and then we're going to click on the text tab, where you would write in any custom code you want, and bring your mouse to the start of the text. Now, the way I personally learned how to write HTML was by writing out a basic alligator bracket, and then a P, and then a style equals, and then a quotation mark, and then I changed up the font size to be something like 40 pixels, semicolon, and I changed up the color to be something like green, semicolon, and I changed up the font family to be something like Tahoma. Now, that's only one way you could do it. Of course, that doesn't come to life until you enter in the closing quote and the closing bracket along with the closing semicolon. And when you want to close everything off, you just write a closing alligator bracket /P and close it off. And that's how it works. So by doing that, you can literally change how the text looks in terms of color, size, and font right there within your WordPress editor. You don't need to use any other settings. You can just do it all with inline HTML and CSS, as this is called. It's called inline because you write it inline with the text. And all we're doing is changing up the HTML, which is all this, and writing in the CSS, which is this stuff like style equals font, color, green, font family. That's all CSS. So that's how to change the way any specific block of text looks on any website. Maybe you're working on a blog or a website and you want to change one specific portion. You can just write in a P style. You can also write in a span style, which can be a little more aggressive. That can definitely overwrite other sorts of font styles. You just have to make sure the span at the start matches the span at the bottom. Alright, so that's how you would do it, and of course there are thousands of different CSS selectors you can put in here, aside from font size, color, and font family. Those are just the beginning. And when you delete it, it goes back to as it was before. Alright, so that's how to learn a little bit of extra CSS and HTML.